Hey there, everybody. Parks Alza here with Inven Global's Esports Weekly podcast. This week, I have Yinsu Collins of Sue featuring here. Thank you so much for joining me. I know it's really late in your time. You are over in Europe, and I am in LA, so it's practically still morning for me. But thank you for coming. How you doing?
Brexit means Brexit. Just want to get that out of the way first.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, it's 9 p.m. here, so just as I'm about to go to bed, you're starting, so it's kind of nutty. But it's also quite nutty to hear an American person say my name. I just realized I don't think I've ever heard an American person say my name like in full.
In full?
So I was kind of like, oh, yeah.
How do you say it?
Because no, but you say Collins.
Oh, Collins?
Like Collins, yeah.
Well, how do you say it?
Collins.
Collins.
Like
Sue
Colin.
Collins.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
have a bad accent.
That's actually really good.
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
Really good.
I'm flattered. So normally, whenever we start off the show, I just like to ask people how they spend their quarantine time, because I think I've heard some things, on Twitter where people are like, "Oh, I've really gotten back into whatever old hobby I used to have." Blah blah blah. So I just like to ask my guests, have you picked up anything since we've just been stuck inside for the last 3 months?
Funny you should say that. I might actually have it right here. I bought something to specifically for lockdown. Oh no, I think it's not on my desk. It must be in the other room. I bought a tin flute. I don't know if you know what a tin flute is.
Is this a British thing?
It's a tin whistle, which is like in Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit song. I'm not going to sing it, but you know that it's actually played on a tin whistle, which is like a metal recorder. Yeah.
The circle one?
No. It's long and it's sort of metal. It's really hard to describe it, but and it's very uncool. But I did buy one because I thought, I could learn that, but I actually haven't learned it yet. Because I don't know about you, but obviously because we work in the same industry, I don't know about you, but my lockdown has actually been busier than it was before.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like there's I mean, not the same things that's been going on, but there's definitely been a variety of things that's been going on since quarantine.
And it's just
what have you been up to?
I mean, kind of the same. I bought a tin whistle and haven't been playing it. No, I similarly I bought there was like a bunch of language learning apps or whatever. I bought the premium version to some of them, and I was like, haha, if I spend money, I will for sure use them. And then I still don't keep up with it very well, but maybe someday. Well, that's cool. I hope you can learn that at least a little bit, and then maybe you can annoy your housemates or something.
The next time I come back on here, I will have my tin whistle.
Okay, good.
And I'll play it.
I will for sure hold you up to that. So you have to learn at least something, like hot cross buns, like the third grade class. Oh, you're not from the US.
Did you just say hot cross buns? Like what you have during Easter?
I don't know about that, but
no, hot cross buns are like a dessert that you have over Easter time.
I mean,
with raisins in them.
It's just a song for us.
What?
we don't actually eat them. I don't know what they are, but yeah, you learn how to play it in third grade. Everyone in third grade has like a recorder, like
how
music
does it go?
class.
What's the tune?
It's hot cross buns. Hot cross buns. What is it? 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. That's it. That's the whole song.
Oh my gosh, no! It's hot cross buns are like a pastry that you'd eat specifically in the 2 days of Easter, like Easter weekend, and it's sweet and it's cinnamon and it has raisins in. So that's a culture shock and a half.
Wow, we are both learning something on Esports Weekly, talking about hot cross buns. Well, okay, so before we get into our actual topics, I do want to follow up, just kind of let everyone know what we've talked about in the past. Our first episode, we talked a lot about the LCS and a little bit of the LCS, or LEC, the spring split, talking about how we finished up in the quarantine. That was kind of the start of the quarantine. Teams had to adapt. It was a little bit weird. Esports in general was shutting down and then reopening later, but in an online format. So, we talk about, like, is there an asterisk on the whole season? which is still relevant because we are now entering into the next wave of professional League of Legends, with the LCK just starting, the LPL just starting, and of course the LEC and LCS. I had to save the best for last there. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit later. We also talked a lot about the TSM situation in one of our past episodes, which I do want to follow up on. We still haven't actually heard anything real. I did get to interview Dardoch to talk to him about that, so please check that on the site. But Dardoch kind of gives his side of the story, and luckily for him, he found a team, and so that's really awesome. And it looks like he's going to be competing for a starting spot every week. So we'll see how that goes. But he is excited, and he just wants to move on. So that's great for him. But we still never heard anything from the Players Association. We never heard anything from TSM. We never heard anything from Riot. And that, I think, in my opinion, is a little bit of a fumble there and a little disappointing. So hopefully we get something put in place for the future, so that the next time anything like this happens, we have some sort of answer. And then we also talked a lot about toxicity in gaming, but I didn't really get to talk about it the way that I wanted to, which is why Sue is here. I think with the launch of Valorant, along with like just league toxicity in general getting worse and worse over the years, with very little being done. We saw like Voyboy and people tweeting about it. But then when Valorant launched and there's the voice chat that everyone's using, because if you're not using voice chat, the ping system isn't super great, and you're not going to be typing while trying to shoot people. So that it was huge, and I've seen really day after day after day after day more and more tweets of specifically women talking about sexism. There's racism, just toxicity in general. And I can't really talk about all of that personally. So thank you so much for joining. And let's talk about that first. What has your experience been like playing Valorant and using the voice chat?
I mean, to be honest, just going back to your point about not being able to talk about it, I think you talking about it is actually doing more good than you think it is, because I feel like it's easier for me to talk about it. It's much easier. It's like something that I have to live through day by day. But one of the ways I feel let down by sometimes, it's the fact that if one or two people are super sexist and toxic or even racist in my game, the other two people don't talk about it. They don't call them out. They just either stay silent or they pretend like it's not happening. But I think that's the issue, because it always feels like a 2-on-1 or 3-on-1 or 4-on-1 situation when I'm in that situation. And I just wish if just one other person in my team spoke up about it, it actually makes it so much better. Like if I'm queuing with a friend and they speak up about it, more often than not, it does make a difference. So, and I assume that a lot of people in that boat will be, someone who isn't a woman, who probably coming from a similar background to you, who feels like, that's not really for me to get involved. But I feel like, sadly, that is like the only way forward at the moment. Just to answer your question, my experience, thing is, when I tweeted, the reason that I'm here is because I tweeted some of my grievances, because I don't normally tweet anything personal. I don't actually think I've ever tweeted anything personal. But that particular day, I mean, leading up to that day, I was experiencing this sort of 1 or maybe 2 games a week, maybe like 1 a day if I'm really unlucky. But for some reason that day, I played 3 games, 1 Spike Rush and 2 like unrated games on my own. And all 3 games, I had 2 or 3 people each game. That was just, I mean, I don't know what I can say on it. Like, I mean, I'd happily repeat some of the stuff I said, but it's just, honestly, like I said, I tweeted this as well. In one of the rounds, I was like, I hadn't said anything before this round. I think it was like round 3 or round 4. I was just getting on with it. And then I think we pulled off some like crazy round, and I just quickly said, "Oh, guys, good job." And then someone immediately just goes, "Oh my God, you're a girl. Do you like blowjobs? Are you a whore? Do you like blowjobs?" And I was just like, all I said was good job, guys. I wasn't inting, I wasn't like getting in anyone's way. But I just feel like that is a very normalized response at the moment. So like I said, that day I had my first game where I think someone was literally saying, get back in the kitchen. Every time I like did anything wrong, they'd be like, get back in the kitchen. We don't want you playing these games. This is why girls don't play games. You're shit. Like just constant. You know, sometimes I think it's like warranted to say I'm shit, but I just, yeah. And I mean, even when I think in my second game, I was the top fragger. And first half, people were just abusing me as usual, saying stuff like, you know, like, do you have Facebook? Can we add you on Facebook? Like, send us nudes. How big are your boobs? Like, constant. And then as I started getting better in the game, because I just couldn't be asked to deal with this, I'm just going to concentrate on my game. And I kind of had a point to prove, I think. So I ended up the game being the top fragger. And then towards the end, I literally, this one of my teammates didn't say anything the whole game. We just assumed he didn't have any comms. And I said, oh, dude, can you draw me a gun? I was the best player on my team. Like, it's not really that outrageous for me to ask someone to drop me a gun. And he had plenty of creds. He drops me a gun, and then the other 3 people in my team are like, oh, dude, you're a fucking simp. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, don't do it. Don't drop her a gun. And then the Phoenix literally mollied me on the spot. As soon as the barriers went down, he mollied me, and I like lost most of my health. So I just mean, literally, it got to a point where I was playing so well, and I didn't ask for anything crazy. I wasn't being toxic. I didn't even respond, to be honest. I ignored everyone that game. I asked for a gun. So it's a lose-lose situation. You don't play well, and people are like, get back in the kitchen. You're shit. We don't want to play with girls. This is why girls are bad at video games. Or you play well, and people are like, you're a simp. You know, like, why are you helping her? And they literally tried to kill me because I was playing well, which to me is just, I don't know what to do. Because the other thing is, I'm really sick and tired of people telling me to ignore it. People are like, just mute them and ignore it. Am I supposed to mute 4 people every game and just play on my own? Like, why do I have to mute people? Why is it up to me to do something about this when I haven't done anything to start with? But like I said, you know, sometimes it's warranted if I do something really stupid and someone's like, oh, dude, like, that, don't do that again. Like, you lost us a round. Fair enough, I can take it. But I haven't done anything yet, and I'm getting mollied into a corner, or the Rays would try and grenade me and all sorts. It's just crazy. It's absolute craziness. And I think in the beta, I didn't really play that much, but in the beta, I did see like people like Proxy Fox posting videos of her experience. And I can't remember who the other streamer was. I think she was American, and she posted her experience, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And very much in the back of my mind, I thought, that's not going to be, you know, the norm. That's probably a one-off. But honestly, after, I think it was Monday when I tweeted, after Monday, I genuinely, I sat in this spot. I normally play here. I just sat in this spot, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. And my other half, like, kind of realized I was upset. He came into the room and was like, what is going on? I told him everything, and he's just like, what do we do? Like, I've had conversations with friends, with my boyfriend, or like with, you know, other peers in the industry, and we've literally sat down and talked about what we can do. And the worst part about all of this is just there's nothing we can do. Sorry, that was a bit of a rant, but no, I needed to get it out.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's why I have you here. You didn't come up with anything. I mean, I haven't either.
Yeah. But it's just like, yeah, you can mute people, but why should I? Like, yeah, okay, I'll mute people, one game, get it over with, and then it's just and then the next one, and then the next one, and it's never ending. I can't just go into game with no comms. I mean, I'm really competitive, and I like to think I'm also like a good IGL, so I like to go into games and be like, let's do this, come on guys, let's do it. But that's one of the solutions people have said. Or you like play with your friends, but obviously you can't coordinate that all the time. I should be able to feel relaxed and safe enough to jump into a solo queue on my lunch break and not have to, you know, like go on Discord and Twitter to ask people to play with me. Yeah. Like, we should all feel comfortable enough to do that. Yeah. And that's just the sad thing. Yeah.
These proposed solutions aren't actually fixing the root of the problem. They're just kind of like, you know, it's like having a snack when you're hungry instead of eating a meal. Which I am kind of hungry. Really good analogy. That's why I came up with that analogy, because my stomach is growling. But yeah, it's not going to actually solve the problem, and it won't fix it long term. Muting someone, sure, it works in a game, but over the course of playing the game over and over again, if you just always have people muted, then yeah, you're not going to be able to win. I agree. I think those are terrible solutions.
I'm not quite sure about the ban system in Valorant yet, because in League of Legends, as you know, if you report someone, they get banned, you get like a little box that pops up and goes like, oh, thanks for your report. Like, it was really helpful, whatever. I haven't seen anything like that in Valorant. And I don't know how it's monitored. Do they have someone that just sit there and listen to every like match comms that you report or something? Because I've reported so many people.
Yeah.
And I have no idea if it actually does anything. Yeah.
That's my biggest question, and that's something I guess I should try and reach out to a writer about and get more information. I think it was during the beta, there was some person who for sure should not be playing the game. I reported them in the game, and then also, went and found the report system on their website, and I reported there, and they told me at that time that reporting in the game works well, reporting on the site doesn't work as well, because of somehow about like the way the staff is allocated and something or another. I don't know if that's changed since the launch of the actual game. That was the beta. That was like mid-May. So it's been about a month. I don't know how much it's changed or improved since then, but they do have a voice abuse reporting function, so that would lead you to think that they have access to all the comms. But how long did they keep all of the comms? Because they're not going to keep them forever. We don't know how they're actually looking at them. So I think having more information on that would be helpful. But then also, this has been a problem for 2 full months. So
it's actually, it's been longer than that, I think. If you look at CSGO, if you look at Overwatch, COD.
True.
Thing is, back in the COD days, I had this conversation with my friend of mine earlier today. And he was saying, do you remember back in the COD days where every single time you entered a lobby, someone would drop the N-bomb? Like, someone is just going to say the N-word. I think, like, I guess it's good that people don't do that anymore in Valorant. I still do come across people that do that, but it's definitely way less than it used to be in COD, from what I remember and my experience. But it has somehow managed to evolve into like just sexism and that kind of abuse instead of racial abuse. I mean, neither, I can't sit here and say one is, better than the other or whatever. But it is interesting that that's kind of whittled out a bit more now. I'm not sure why that is, or maybe if that is because, to be honest, like, you see big streamers, and if they say like the N-word on stream, they get banned, right? But if a streamer's making like a sexist, edgy joke, nothing really usually happens. So I think as a player, maybe if you are someone who thinks you're edgy, you know that if you do say the N-word in certain circumstances, that probably will get you banned, and for a long time. Whereas saying to a girl, you're a whore, or like saying to a girl, go back into the kitchen, nobody gets banned for that. You don't get banned for that on Twitch, at least not to my knowledge.
Not to mine either.
Yeah, so it's just, I don't think like sexist abuse is regarded as a bannable offense, sadly. I don't know why it isn't, but yeah.
That is sad. And I think, as far the only solution that I have thought of that I think might be helpful, other than just the band-aids of mute or play with friends, is we need to see more action from Riot side. And this is obviously Valorant specific, because yes, this is a problem in Overwatch, it's a problem in COD, it's a problem in any game that has any sort of chat. I mean, even in League itself, we still see that exact same thing, and there's not even voice chat. People just, oh, you're playing Janna, whatever, you must be a girl, and then all of the, the slew of all the insults, sexist insults. So Riot needs to be better about how they, I guess, just ban people or punish people for these types of offenses, because it's actually alienating a large portion of their player base, and not cool.
It's just not clear enough, Because I mean, it's very clear that if you do certain things in League of Legends, for example, if you run it down, you're going to get banned. If you feed intentionally, you're probably going to get banned. But it's just, I don't know if it's clear enough. Like, how severe does the abuse have to be? Is there like a line? Do they literally have to threaten you for that to happen? I don't know. Like I said, it's not just me that I feel like has been on the receiving end of this. It's also other men who are sticking up for women. They're also getting abused for it. And in my eyes, that's a bannable offense. Like, if you abuse anyone, it's a bannable offense, right? But I guess I don't know what Riot thinks about this. They've been uncharacteristically quiet, I would say, on this issue, because so many big streamers. I think Pokimane even spoke about this. So it'd be interesting to see if they do anything about it. I don't know if it's a priority of theirs, because, at the moment, like, Ranked isn't even out yet. Maybe they're hoping that when Ranked comes out, people won't be as childish about things. But I feel like, if anything, it's going to get worse. Like, if I play badly in a ranked game, I don't even want to think about what people would say to me. That's the other really shit part, because you're just scared of playing badly. You really shouldn't be. Like, it happens. You're not going to... If I was playing well every game, I would be pro. Like, I wouldn't be. And another really bad thing is that I'm not very good. I have directional dyslexia. I will tell you that it's a real thing. It basically means that I get lost, like, really easily, like really, really easily, in game and out game, in real life. Anyone who knows me knows that I can't get to anywhere. So I spend like a lot of effort learning like callouts in Valorant. So like a lot of my time making sure that I don't get it wrong, because I know if I got it wrong, people are going to probably be annoyed with me. But I didn't anticipate, like, I think I mixed up. There's a bit on the map Bind. I don't know how much Valorant you play, but
quite a bit.
yeah, exactly. On Bind, so on A, I can't remember if it's showers or toilets or bathroom.
All of them. I hear all of them.
Yeah, that room. So I called it toilet once, and then someone was literally like, "You're a dumb bitch. Like, this is where we don't let girls play." And I was like, "Well, you know what I mean, right? Like, I'm sorry I got it wrong, but you know what I mean." And they're like, "Yeah, but you're so fucking lazy. Just learn the game." And it kind of like, it upset me, because I was like, it made me feel bad that I wasn't doing, like, making enough of an effort, when I know that in my spare time I have to literally learn. I struggle to learn these names, and I've tried so hard to do it. I don't want anyone to be like, "Oh, like, you poor thing," but I don't know if I warranted, "You dumb bitch, fuck off, like, don't play this game, uninstall, you're a dumb bitch." I don't know. I just feel like that's the kind of degree that I feel like some girls have to go to try not to get abused, which is the sad part. Like, I just feel like even if we go above and beyond, like, there's no situation where we come out on top in this. And
I think something that you kind of brought up again, and you said earlier, you said something like, sometimes, like, I deserve to be called shit. I'll take that.
Yeah.
But never sexist, though. Like, people can say you're bad at the game without being sexist, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Because if you are,
for sure,
if you're 1 in 12 and 3, sure, man, you deserve to be called out. Just change your play style, try and relax, something. But
100%.
Never is sexism warranted.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're 0 and 30. It really doesn't matter.
I just don't think my gender or, like, anything has anything to do with my ability to play. There's plenty of women who are better than me. There are plenty of women who are worse than me. Vice versa. I'm better than plenty of male players, and there's going to be plenty of male players who are better than me. But I never think someone is good because they're a guy, or someone is not good because if they're a girl. But that's the other thing. So if I am doing really well, if I am carrying, another thing that tends to happen, I don't see this as abuse or anything, but I do see, like, people, like, follow me around in game, like, a lot, to a point where I'm like, "Guys, look, we don't need 3 people on B, like, please go." And someone will be like, "Oh, but you're so good, let me follow you." And I just think to myself, if I was a dude, like, would you do this? Would you, like, literally run around with me all game, following me and being like, "Oh, like let me be with you over here, let me be with you over there," just like 24/7? It's not really abuse, but it is kind of weird. Like, why are people so surprised that a girl can, like, put on a good performance. I don't understand that. That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is kind of a weird one. Like, not abuse, but like a fringe case. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't have answer. I think, the one thing I guess I appreciate you saying, because I'd kind of forgotten. I think we as men also need to be better about defending or speaking up when it happens. And that's something I don't know like how helpful it is, but I usually will like type I'll type to them, or I'll tell them out loud or whatever, like, don't do that, that's stupid, blah blah blah, and then just automatically report. Make sure you remember to report. Don't wait till the end of the game, because you're just going to get back into a new game right after that. So I always just report verbal abuse, whatever.
I mean, to be honest, like, I don't like other people standing up for me and then them getting abused too. I think that's like, it makes me feel even worse, because I'm like, oh, this guy's actually trying to help, and now people are being mean to him, or throwing mollies at him and stuff. But if it changes one person's perspective, like even if it's a bystander, like a middle person, or if it stops someone from like makes them like rethink what they're doing, I think that's enough. Like that's all we can really do at the moment. Yeah,
that's a good point as well. If the people who are just going to sit there and be quiet hear other people speaking up, then maybe they'll eventually be pushed to the speak up crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to overwhelm the abusers with support, essentially, or not supporting the abusers, but we have to have like a higher number of people willing to speak up than just willing to be stupid and abusive. So
I also do think it's because like the anonymity element of it. So like nobody knows you in game. No one knows like who you are. I don't know if it's ever going to be something Riot can do or implement that somehow you can really like.
You have to have a
I don't
Twitter.
know. Yeah.
You have to have a Twitter. And if you say anything sexist like in chat, then whatever esports teams you're following are going to block you.
Yeah. I feel like that's something G2 would do.
Yeah.
Like that's a very G2 thing. Like, nah, like we're not gonna acknowledge your support anymore because you're a dick. Yeah.
Yeah. We need to get some action on that. This is a good solution, actually. We need we need to link accounts to everyone's Valorant account, so we can block them from the things that they love. Well, thanks for kind of exploring that and not exploring it. I was the one exploring it. You were the one reliving history.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry that happens. And I don't know. I guess I'll try and talk to Riot. I guess more people like in my position, I guess, can try and get answers or get some publicity on it. So I guess that's something I can do, as well as calling people out in game.
I did send them an email, and I'm almost like half-heartedly trying to in game be like, I know someone at Riot. Like, you know, in like Call of Duty days or FIFA days when you're like, I can get your IP banned. Like, I can hack you.
Yeah,
honestly, tempted. Yeah.
I never played COD or FIFA online.
Oh, you missed out. FIFA online. Oh my days.
I've only played FIFA with Darius, and I feel like I didn't really miss out there, but so yeah, hopefully we get to see some action on that, especially with ranked. I think that's, I said it last time we talked about it, and of course I was talking to a guy, and we focused more on just toxicity in general, but did touch on the fact that this is a big problem. But there needs to be action sooner rather than later, and especially I think I originally said before the game launched. This was still in beta, and I was like, before the game launches, you need to have better banning and whatever put in place, and that didn't happen. So now I'm moving the goalposts. When ranked comes out, please, we need to have a better system for this.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm gonna segue this into a similar topic, and this is something that I know you know more about than I do, because this is he's not a British player, but he played in the UK.
Yeah, we count him as one of us.
Oh, we count okay.
Yeah, we count him. I would say we count him. Yeah.
So earlier this week, Ardiis was accused of buying a cheat for Valorant. And he recently just won like G2's Brawl 2 or whatever. He's played in almost 10 tournaments in the last month and has won all but one of them. The Fnatic one, he got like 3rd place or something. So a lot of eyes have been on him, and just at the, right before it was reported that he was going to be signing with G2, I never heard a confirmation on that, but right before, all of that goes through, he gets accused of buying a cheat. Some stuff comes up about him potentially match fixing or attempting to match fix. And I know this is something you know a lot about, so I wanted to ask you about him as a player, his history, what this means for him.
Thing is, the UK, as you know, most of the Valorant current ecosystem is made up of other shooters, in particular CSGO. So I'd say, not counting sort of the top players in NA, so like, your Skadudo or your Brax and Hiko and so on, the rest of the scene, especially in Europe, is made up of tier 2, 3, and 4 CSGO players. Most CSGO players in the UK kind of falls into the tier 3 and maybe tier 4 category. This is because the CSGO infrastructure doesn't exist in the UK. It just doesn't. We've had 2 players ever in the history of UK CS has ever made it into tier 1 orgs, and those are Def and Smooya. But outside of that, it's really hard to make money as a CSGO player in the UK. I'd almost compare it to like the India-Pakistan sort of cricket situation where, you have one region that just makes so much money from a sport, and you have another region where the players are just as good, the players are just as talented. When they don't do so well, they can play on the top level, but they just don't make any money. And UK CS has historically been a laughing stock for other regions. So like the French scene, the Danish scene, the Swedish scene sort of look at us and they're like, they're just like players who think they're good, they're arrogant, but they're never going to make it. So obviously when Valorant came out, all these tier 1 CSGO players realistically are not going to move to Valorant. Like Stewie is not going to just be like, oh yeah, I'm going to drop everything and move to Valorant now. So there's kind of a reason why players do move. And the ardiis I can't speak for him, but I assume it's because he knows he's got a better chance in Valorant than he does in CSGO. And obviously him and his team, straight from the beta, they started doing really well. They were one of the first teams to actually form. So I actually truly believe that the only advantage players had in the beta is that they had 4 friends. So I don't want to discredit anyone, but if you are a team that did amazingly in the beta, it's probably because you had 4 people to play with. So I genuinely believe the best Valorant player probably hasn't even played the game yet. We'll see. Anyway, so obviously he is not used to this. He tried pretty hard in CSGO, so as did all of his teammates. And I know it'd be unfair for me to say they're all tier 4, but like, they didn't make it in CSGO. But all of a sudden you get into this new game and you are I think ESPN named him the best AWPer in Europe. You're getting everything. And you're probably getting more monetary sort of opportunities. And from my knowledge, he's also been accused of match fixing. And from his statement, he did say, paraphrasing, he did say, CSGO wasn't making him enough money. Wasn't quite sure how much money Valorant is going to make him. There is a big possibility that you could just make a quick buck and then get out of it or whatever. We've seen players do that. Him as a person on the scene, what I would say is most people were really surprised about this accusation. Obviously, his friends would be. Most people who played with him or against him on the UK CS scene didn't think that this was true, I would say. But then as more things were coming out, and he has in the past has said maybe he thought he was edgy or maybe he thought he was trying to be funny, but he has made some statements about match fixing and his opinions on match fixing, his opinions on that kind of gray area. So people, it did sort of bring some memories back to people who do know him, and the people I spoke to, were either like, he absolutely did not do this, there's no way, you know, why would he fuck up his career, he's worked so hard in CS, never got anywhere, finally getting somewhere in Valorant. If the G2 rumors were true, I actually spoke to a source that told me that he was going to be on like an astronomical amount of money at G2, like insane amount of money. So it doesn't seem like the kind of thing that you would do if your career is going that way. But then the other half, the people who kind of came up with him in the scene, who know that he has said a few things here and there, are saying, well, that maybe that is something that he would do, because how much of an opportunity is Valorant going to give him, you know? Like, he's been through this before. You've grinded like this before through CS, and maybe had you match fixed or tried to make some money early on, you wouldn't have been kind of stuck in a place in CSGO where you can't make money. I don't know how to feel about this. I also had quite a long chat with a guy that the gamer doc who exposed him.
Mm-hmm.
And the gamer doc seems to like I mean, to be fair, he's never been wrong before. I did do like a bit of a digging into him and see who he is. He has caught out quite a few people for cheating, and he's never actually falsely accused anyone. So there's that. But I just think, you know, UK CS scene as a whole, where you just don't make money, and it does happen, you know. There's been other accusations in the past of UK CS players doing that. It's not new. And I think I've seen memes of people literally being like, oh my God, we're 3 weeks into Valorant and this has come out of UK scene, like how typical kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to talk about his statement for a second, because
I wanted to ask.
On the one hand, a lot of people are like, what an absolutely eloquent, well-written, like amazing statement. He's really explained himself. And the other half, I don't know if you saw underneath, but Lazar, who's a UK CS, quite a well-known UK CS player, I think he says something like, my face when I saw ardiis use the word procure, and it's just like the meme of this guy going, damn. And people were saying like, there's no way you wrote this, or someone was like, oh, I didn't realize you were such a novelist, ardiis. So I mean, he has an agency, he's with Prodigy, and they haven't dropped him. As far as I know, he's playing in the G2 tournament this weekend, so I don't think they've like severed ties with him or anything. So I don't know. I feel like unless a really, really concrete proof that comes out, that's not just like one person's words against another, I think he might this will sort of blow over for him. But I wouldn't personally be surprised if something like this happened again in the European scene at all. Like, it would not surprise me if another big profile player comes out and they've bought a cheat or match fixed. Genuinely would not surprise me. Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense given, you know, the point about how it's so much harder to make money there. Obviously, it doesn't make sense because it's dangerous and wrong. I think one lesson to learn is don't ever take an easy stance on match fixing, you know, publicly.
Yeah.
Especially if, you know, you're trying to have a career in whatever that game is. Because I guess even if he is innocent, and this is the first time that guy is wrong on accusing someone, and you know, he goes on to G2, whatever, it's still a really bad look at like the high point of his career so far, given his history. So I think I just think it'll be interesting what G2 does.
Yeah. Do you think one is worse than the other? Like, is buying a cheat worse, or is match fixing worse? Like, if let's say he didn't do one or the other. Because I was thinking about this, but like I think normally I would have been like, oh, you know, getting a cheat is so like, that's just so terrible. But then match fixing,
I think
especially
I'd have to lean on the match fixing being worse.
Yeah.
Because that's like legitimate competitive integrity issues, whereas if you have a cheat, using it in a tournament I guess would be a lot easier right now, but at some point, like if he's in the G2 facility or something, like there's a much less likelihood that he would be able to do that, especially if his teammates are around him watching him play. Like it would be a little harder to hide that, I think. Like
it will come out.
Room. So if he was using a cheat in an actual match versus match fixing, I don't know what I could say better or worse. But if he's using a cheat in ranked, but not able to use it in the tournament, then like, yeah, it's bad, but also, you know, it's not like he's ruining the careers of other people or whatever. But match fixing is like just straight up rewriting history, essentially. Like, oh, we won this tournament, even though we shouldn't have.
I saw a really interesting tweet from Onscreen who said, because obviously Onscreen played against him at Twitch Rivals and at the G2 tournament twice and was knocked out all 3 times by ardiis, I think, ardiis' team. And he was like, oh, I'm not saying you're cheating or not. It's like, I don't want to accuse you of anything, but, you know, it makes me feel terrible that you knocked me out 3 times. And if he was cheating, I mean, Twitch Rivals was big money as well. I can't remember how much money. I think it was 49k prize pool. But I don't know. I would feel like if he was using a private cheat and he had single-handedly carried his team in one way or another and then beat me 3 times in 3 tournaments. Oh, yeah. I don't know how I would be able to get my head around that. I mean, again, like you said, it'd be interesting to see how G2 responds because from the sources that I've seen, that he is definitely participating in G2's tournament this weekend, the one that they ran themselves. The Riot affiliated one, none other. So it would be interesting to see how Riot responds to this. Are they going to let him play? If they do, what does that say? I don't know. There's not enough proof at the moment, but but it's on Friday. The tournament's on Friday, and at the moment he's down to play. So
and we'll see. It's a weird situation for Riot and G2 as well, because obviously they have to do an investigation. So I'm expecting to see that. But then if it ends up being false and he's actually clear, then it's not fair to take him out.
True.
They're probably not going to be able to run an entire investigation in the next 2 days. So.
But like, let's say this was League of Legends and there was like a huge accusation on like Broken Blade for cheating. Like, would they still let him play whilst the investigation is going on? Would they be like, sorry, we need to just sub you out for 1 week or 2 weeks because it's like, it's just dodgy.
They'd probably sub him out.
Yeah, they probably would.
I don't know. It's TSM. So maybe they just wouldn't say anything at all. And Broken Blade would play until we offered games.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
Anyway, if you're not super knowledgeable about the ardiis situation, it is very interesting, and you should look at his Twitlonger response and the accusations going around Twitter. You can literally just type in ardiis VALORANT and a million tweets will show up. But thank you for giving me a lot more insight, because I know you know a lot better than I do, having not really followed CSGO or British players at all.
It's just the UK scene. We just keep making ourselves into bigger and bigger jokes. Like, it just is, yeah.
So one other thing I want to touch on before we get into like a fun little segment at the end. We have professional leagues starting back up again, which for me is very big because that's like 90% of what I do. So it was a very long and boring quarantined off season with no MSI and just nothing to do, talking about Valorant cheaters and stuff. But we finally started back up. We've had the first weekend of games for the 4 major leagues. And I just want to talk about it because it's fun. I don't really have much to talk about. Are you watching the LEC?
Yeah, but can we just talk about the LCK trailer?
Okay,
like,
sure, yeah.
What?
That was incredible.
Honestly, I want that as an RPG. Like, I need that as an RPG where you'd be able to select like just all of those characters. Thing is, I'm not so familiar with the LCK right now, but I don't know if you are, but there's one of the players who's the Aatrox in the video. Who is that? Because he's unreal. He looks so cool. I was like, oh, who is this player? But no, I'm watching a lot of the LEC. I'm covering it at the moment, so it's always fun. But it's also like everything is about worlds, you know. I don't know what it's like over there, but it's almost like we're week 1 and already people are like, oh, this team's not going to make to worlds. I'm like, they've played 3 games. Why are we talking about it now?
You all had the super week. How was it? I mean, did it feel weird, or is it just like, oh, we just have more games?
It was super long. Like, I actually felt like it was too long, maybe, because the narratives just changed too quickly throughout the day. So if you were doing an interview on Friday, by the time it was like first game Saturday, it was redundant almost. It was really good to have Kobe back, so thank you guys for that. He was it's just good, nice to have him back. He played actually all right. Yeah, he played well. All of the narratives is basically G2 gonna go to Worlds, Fnatic are gonna go to Worlds, and who are the other two teams essentially at the moment? That's all. 2. We got 4 spots.
I thought just the LPL got 4 spots.
Nah, we got 4 spots too. That's why it's so like crazy this year.
No way. LEC.
Yeah, we've got 4 spots. We've got 4 spots, mate. That's why everyone's like, oh my god, Mad Lions are gonna go to Worlds. Yeah, we got 4 spots.
I thought it was just the LPL. Oh my god. How did I miss? This is my entire job. How did I miss it? All right, cut the
yeah, but
pod,
that's why. That's why it's been so crazy over here, because you have like, you know, Rogue are winning, OG like Origin are doing okay. Their Origin are in their own drama with Astralis and all that jazz at the moment. And then Mad Lions are doing all right, so everyone's like, oh my god, they're gonna go to Worlds. Basically, at the moment, if you're not G2 or Fnatic, everyone is sort of talking about how you can go to Worlds. And it's one of those years that if you don't make it to Worlds this year, I feel like then you absolutely have no like position in the LEC ever again. Because it seems like if this is the year you don't make to Worlds, then you're trash. Yeah. Well, because we get 4.
Yeah. Because we get 4. The weird thing though is like we don't even know what Worlds is going to look like. As far as you know, there was a statement probably a month and a half ago at this point that the Chinese government was actually pushing for Worlds to happen. That they were saying we've got COVID under control. You know, like we as a government want Riot and Tencent to have Worlds in China. Like we're going to help facilitate it. We're going to make sure that you know we have safety measures in place, whatever. You know, we're a long ways off, but we'll make sure it happens. Recently, just a couple days ago, there was like a big outbreak. Actually, it wasn't. We don't know the full size yet, but there was an outbreak in Beijing.
32.
Which previously had almost no cases at all, and they had they'd kind of reopened some things, and now they're shutting some schools down. It was reported that all of them were shut down, but then it was later reported that only some of them were, so that's good. It seems like they kind of understand the size of it, and it shouldn't be too bad. But we also have to wait, you know, like in a week or whatever, or in 2 weeks, since the delay is so long in its dormancy, we have to wait. So I'm kind of curious to see what happens with that, because if another big outbreak happens, I feel like there's no way that we can actually have it.
I feel like this is the perfect year to have not Worlds but the World Cup, because everybody is quarantined and assume if you go back to your own country you have to be quarantined there, but you're going to have less restrictions, because like in the UK, if you come to the UK you have to be quarantined for 14 days and then you can do other stuff. But if you're like already from here, you know, they can just all get online and do a World Cup instead. But I honestly think that if there's going to be any year, it's this year.
But how would we do it online?
Oh, that's true. I mean, it'd be easier to do it online, if anything, if we had an actual World Cup. Oh, yeah, true, servers. Yeah, you can't be playing, like, NA and EU servers. That's true.
Can you imagine playing Thresh?
My idea is terrible.
Can you imagine playing Lee Sin from here to China?
I would like to have a World Cup at some point. Like, we have talked about this a lot for Team UK, because we think we're so scarce for talent. And I don't know if it would be Team England, because we can't have Alfari that way, because Alfari is Welsh. So if it's Team England or Team Scotland or Team UK, it makes a big difference for us. Whereas like if you have Team Denmark, you have like 85 mid laners who can all play. But yeah, we just have Kasing. Pretty much Kasing will just be our captain of the UK. Team. Yeah, but I think it'd be quite high. I would love to have a World Cup.
A 1-person, 5-position team. Yeah, I mean, that would be fun. I know that it's been talked about before, and I think just, you know, entirely in theory about what would be cool and which teams could hypothetically win. I don't think it's gonna happen because I think you still have to be in person. Tyler Fion on Fire, ESPN reporter Tyler Erzberger just put a tweet up. I think it was this morning about how we should rent out Shanghai. Disney.
Saw that.
Disney Shanghai, and everyone can have like their own section of the park. They'll just close it off to the public, and you can't leave Disney until you're until you're knocked out of Worlds. I think that would be really fun.
I think so too.
Maybe make it happen. Let's do this. Yeah. Anyway, I think Worlds will be interesting. I think the season will be interesting as well because for the most part it'll probably be entirely played online. And so then if we do actually have a Worlds, if it's in person at all, that's going to be a huge adjustment because it's not just like, oh, playing from my own little home arena for 200 fans. It'll be like, no, playing from home in your pajamas to playing in a different country, for some players in front of a ton of screaming fans on a big stage with big lights. That would be a crazy adjustment as well. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it'd be fun. Anyway, last thing before we go.
Most important thing.
Did you prepare this?
I actually did prepare this. I had 1, 2, 3. I had like 4 or 5 really troll ones, and I had one legitimately like unreal one that I came up with.
Okay, so for all of you viewers out there, we have prepared a very fun segment that is not going to be heated or controversial at all about
they're going to be so confused
about footballers and their relation, who they would be or who league players would be if they were footballers. So Sue and
my God, you said footballers, not soccer players.
Because I'm going to get yelled at if I don't. I'm trying to start this off as like cordially as possible. But yeah, essentially they're soccer players. Anyway, Sue and I have this long history of her not rating players correctly and me being perfect with my player rating despite having watched very little football in my life, and her more or less covering it professionally. But whatever. All right, so we're gonna relate some league players and football players. So this is all you though, because you're the professional.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I'll start with some. I've had some troll ones and some not troll ones. I'll start with one of my troll ones. So I reckon there's a really good case that we can make for. Sorry, I'm just looking at Twitch chat and someone said, "Hey, feisty." Anyway, yeah. So the one really massive case I can make for Uzi is, I think, oh my God, hey Apple, sorry. These are just like people that I guess I don't even want to call them Twitch viewers anymore because they're actually my friends now. But they're basically the twink viewers. We've been invaded by the twinks now. I'm allowed to say that because that's what they call themselves, so it's fine.
Thank you.
Hello, twinks. Anyway, it's your favorite subject, football. So I think there could be a really like legitimate case that we can make for Uzi being Lionel Messi, like super legitimate. So, I mean, you have like the Lionel Messi, Ronaldo argument in football, like who's the greatest. People will have their preferences. And although it's pretty universally agreed on that Faker is the best player in League of Legends, it's, I would say, quite debated on who the second best player in League of Legends is of all time. I would say it's Uzi, personally. And I think it wouldn't be too outlandish for me to say. I think a lot of other people will say, but I also can see other players sort of case being made for them. The reason I would say Uzi is Lionel Messi is because both come from a region of unreal footballers / League of Legends players. Both somehow manage, despite the fact they come from a region that breeds these talented athletes and players, manage to still be the best from that region. And neither of them have ever won Worlds.
Yeah. That's a good point.
There you go. Yeah, Messi's never won the World Cup and Uzi's never won Worlds. So
I like it.
Yeah, let's go.
You said you were starting with the troll one. I'm guessing that was not the troll one.
No, I was actually quite troll when I thought about it.
I think that's pretty legit. I think that's a good comparison.
Apple in chat says, as if we're not saying Faker is Messi, but Faker's won worlds so many times. Like, I can't make that comparison. Faker, I mean, Ronaldo hasn't won worlds either, but at least he's won like Euros one time. My next one is there's a footballer called Mario Balotelli who he was, there you go. When he was in the Premier League and also in the Italian league, he is known to be difficult to work with. Let's put it that way. And he's so talented, but every sort of team he goes to, he gets a bad rep. Sometimes gets fired, sometimes gets kicked, sometimes it just does really crazy shit. So my case for the League of Legends player of Mario Balotelli is forgiven.
Oh, I like that actually.
Because honestly, there's a really famous case where Mario Balotelli scored and he had like a t-shirt underneath that said, "Why always me?" Because he was just sick of everyone saying that he's toxic. I feel like that is a very forgiven thing to do. Like, I feel like he would come out and be like, why is everyone saying, why is it always me? Like, why are my teammates always saying that it's me that's hard to work with? Like, I'm not. I feel like he would say that. So, and then my last,
really quickly, just to intervene, so my college roommate watched a lot of the Premier League, and it was really funny because he'd have to wake up at like 5 a.m. or something on a Saturday. But I would watch it with him every once in a while, and he was telling me about Mario Balotelli, and I was like, wait, that name is hilarious. And I had some random project in college where I like needed a mascot or I needed something, some like theme, and I went to Reddit and got someone on Reddit to Photoshop Mario Balotelli as a Teletubby, which I hope you know what that is.
Oh my god! And what do you mean? You hope I know that.
I don't know what TV
Teletubbies was a hella hype in the UK. Okay, like hella hype.
Good.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Lala was the best.
I was looking for it once you brought him up, and I can't find it, so I can't share it, unfortunately. But I have somewhere a picture saved of Mario Balotelli Tubby.
Wait, which one did you Photoshop him to? Because
it's like the famous one where he's like,
yeah, but because the Teletubbies have like different ethnic backgrounds.
Oh, I don't know about that.
You could have made a really like inappropriate Photoshop.
Well, I didn't make it. I guess some random person on Reddit did it like an hour after I asked. And I don't remember.
Imagine
if
this is I think this is the thing that exposes you.
So I don't know.
Oh no, you don't know their names?
No, I have no idea.
You're asking me if it was a thing, honey. Is Tinky Winky, Dipsy, Lala, and Po?
No, sorry, I know their names. I don't know which is which.
What? No, that's bad. That's really bad.
Yeah, well,
you should.
I'll research Teletubbies more after the podcast is over. I promise.
Someone just goes, the Teletubby have ethnic background? Well, Google them, Apple, and you can tell me. Anyway, my last one was, I thought the only legit one actually is that Luka Modric. I think everyone's going to know where this is going. Luka Modric, extremely talented footballer that plays at Real Madrid. Pretty much the unsung hero of that team. People always look to like Ronaldo or like at the time Karim Benzema, and definitely not at any moment ever Keylor Navas for being good players ever. But at that time, everyone's like, Ronaldo is the best player on the team. You could probably make that case. I'm inclined to agree with you, but Luka Modric is pretty much the backbone of the success of Real Madrid. Just such a good player, and also single-handedly carries his country multiple times. And him being Croatian, I thought it only makes sense for Perks to be the Luka Modric of League of Legends, and they both have the same name.
Have the same name.
So it's Luka and Luka. That was like the only one I thought was legit. The other two, I was like, it's probably quite a troll.
I actually like all of them. I think they're all very good. I actually think I like the Uzi one the most, despite that being a troll one. But no, this one is very good too. I like, they have the same name. How could they not be the same?
Yeah, Luka Perkovic, Luka Modric, both Croatian, both like unreal on their teams. I mean, I guess now Perks is pretty much regarded as one of the best players in Europe and probably the best player on that G2 team. But there were times I didn't think people really like thought of him that way. So
I think he had an interesting history, and I think it was similar with Caps, which was funny when they went on the same team, because you know, as someone who follows the LCS mostly, and the LEC as like kind of a tertiary one, because I normally would look at the LPL first, or second, I guess. My kind of understanding of both of those players where it's like claps or craps, and I had the same thought about Perks. You know, there were certain times, like if Perks pops off, there's 0 chance that you lose the game. But then there would also be random times when he would int, and it was, you know, more often he's performing well or popping off than inting, but there would always be those like random int games where it's like there's 0 chance that you win, and then Caps kind of was like, no, me, I'm taking that. So
man, Craps is bad. I think it was last split, his first ADC game where he won like 0-9, the worst he's ever done in the LEC game, I think that was. No, that was really painful. I mean, I wish I thought of more now, because I was just like,
well, I thought
trying to think. You have one.
I have one. Of course I have one, because I have to defend my guy, Keylor Navas, the Costa Rican Jim. He's so good.
We need context. We need context for why, like, people will think this is really random.
Okay, this is really random, but Sue and I, one of our first ever conversations, Sue was talking with Darius about
MSI
at MSI 2019. I don't remember. We were like Vietnam, like some, I don't know. We were probably just in the media room. Anyway, they were having some heated discussion about footballers and blah blah blah, and I hopped in with all of my knowledge of one player only and threw his name down and tried to walk off happily, and they were like, "No, you're wrong." And anyway,
because you came in, you were like, "Oh, he's the greatest goalkeeper of all time," and me and Darius were like, "Oh yeah, go on."
It's true. Anyway, Navas, I spent one summer in Costa Rica, and it happened to be the summer that Costa Rica performed very well in the World Cup, and so I got to watch an entire country be extremely happy and excited, and I don't know, it was incredible. And Navas he would block like 20 shots per game. The dude was flying. He was like on a magic carpet, just like zooming around up and down, like all over the goal. The dude's incredible, and he is very underrated. He's like, you know, so I'm gonna, you know, since he's a goalkeeper, I am going to say that is similar to top laner, because you're off by yourself, and if you do your job really well, people can be like, oh wow, he TP'd and got a kill or whatever. But then also, like, people won't necessarily be like, yep, they won the game because the top laner. It's usually like, oh yeah, top did great, he got that TP play, but then the AD carried and he got all the scores and blah blah blah. So
are you gonna say the Shy? Is this the Shy coming?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, because the Shy, I think, is rated very well, and
that's what I mean.
Loved by the public. So I am actually going to say he's like Solo, the top laner for FlyQuest, who before the season was so underappreciated. He wasn't even playing at all, but he's actually, in my opinion, like a top 3 probably right now, currently, top laner in the LCS.
I feel like that's quite insulting to Solo, but yeah.
I love Navas, all right? And I think he's better than everybody else thinks that he is. So anyway, that's my comparison. I think Solo is underappreciated. I think Navas is underappreciated. I think they're very good at what they do, and I don't even know where Navas is in the world right now, but I hope he's happy.
I feel like you're his only fan, and I want like some kind of magical like Make-A-Wish Foundation moment of you two just meeting somehow, and you're like, look, I've been defending your honor on the other side of the planet all my life, like I need some appreciation back.
I'll brush up on my Spanish. Someone please make it happen.
Honestly, I've never spoken to anyone who's at length about Keylor Navas in my life.
How about this?
Ever.
Go back and watch the group stage games. Actually, wait, we played England as well.
You did, yeah.
In our final match, in our final match, I was there playing against England.
You're Costa Rican now. Yeah.
And we had a draw that game. Soy un tico. They drew that game, and that's what got them into the bracket stage afterward. But I'm just telling you, go back and watch, because I think it was that game too. Like, he's just blocking everything. So
I mean, he is good, but there's no case to be made for him being the greatest goalkeeper of all time.
I don't know.
Like, absolutely not.
Not
even the greatest goalkeeper in the southern. Actually, maybe the southern hemisphere. Costa Rica's in the southern hemisphere, isn't it?
No.
It's not. Okay, no. He's definitely not in the northern hemisphere.
Costa Rica. So Ecuador is like where the equator is. That's like what it means, and that's South America, like. And Costa Rica is Central America, so like in the middle.
I did say I had directional dyslexia.
That's true.
I prefaced this.
It's totally fair. You get a pass.
Yes.
Well, anyway, thank you so much for joining. That's pretty much.
That's all right.
That's pretty much it for this week. So yeah, thank you all for watching as well. Everybody in chat. Thanks for being the friends to Sue.
Thanks, all the twinks. Thanks, twinks. I just have to. That's what they call it.
I'm really glad you gave that context, because like everybody else other than these people are going to be very confused, including myself and on YouTube and whatever. But thank you so much.
I've decided to recruit Wonder Melon now. Wonder Mellow, I see you.
Wonder Mellow is a new member.
New member. Let's go.
Yeah, we will be back next week. We normally do this at 2 p.m. Pacific time. We did it at 1 p.m. this week for Sue, because I know it's really late for you over there in Europe. But yeah, thanks again for joining. Thank you, everybody else.
Thank you for having me.
For joining. But yeah, catch us next week, and catch the VOD on Twitch or on YouTube, and check out the stuff on our site at invenglobal.com. And thanks to HyperX as well for the sponsor.
Woo!
And you've got the HyperX mic too.
Yeah, I got 2.
Nice. Yes. But yeah, thank you all so much, and we will catch you next time.